Hi, this is Lauren Faby, and I am the owner of Faby PR, as well as a communications consulting firm, Lauren Faby Consulting. You can look me up on the web at www.laurenfaby.com. I wanted to go ahead and put this quick webinar together because this week and last week I've been inundated with questions and calls and emails from some of my clients and some of my associates, and just in general some contacts who are wondering what to do now that the country is basically coming down on lockdown due to the coronavirus, and they're halting travel, and people are canceling meetings, and even some shipments are being delayed for some businesses. So I wanted to go ahead and just talk to you a little bit about how you can try and get ahead of some of these crisis communications. It's super important to have a clear voice to your customers and to your employees and to your staff so that everyone's on the same page and your brand messaging doesn't get all discombobulated through this experience. So really quickly, why is it important to communicate during a crisis? It's important because if there's a lack of communication, people and businesses just make assumptions, right? So it becomes like a game of telephone. It's important because you need to maintain business continuity. You may have certain processes that need to be halted, or maybe you're going to be late in getting your shipments out. Maybe you're going to be late paying your bills. Maybe you need to give your clients a different way to get a hold of your staff. It's super important to do this the right way, and I have an opinion about how locked down it needs to be, but I'll go through the rest of these reasons really quickly. Number two, employee retention. Do not underestimate this. Your employees have lives, and they're in a lot of cases going to be required to work from their homes. Schools are going to be closed. Some are already closed, which means daycares will be closed also. So that presents a new normal to a lot of your staff. What are they going to do with their kids? I know I worked from home when my kids were little, and I can tell you a lot less gets done than anticipated. Maybe you need to shift around some of the hours of some of these people. You need to really communicate what your expectations are. We'll get into that. Your branding. You need to really decide how you want your customers and your employees to feel about your company when this is over. So when they look back, are you going to be known as a company that has its stuff together and is transparent and is seemingly thinking about the client and the client's needs and the employees needs? That will translate to brand loyalty and some stickiness for your business, and also your reputation. That goes hand in hand. How are you going to salvage any inconsistencies or any halts of production for your deliverables? So we'll get into all that, but I just wanted to lay those reasons out. I have a real strong opinion about, and this is not just about a crisis. This is about pretty much anything where people are wondering. In any situation where you have a group of people, and they're doing business with you and they're working for you, and they have questions, and there's a dead period of silence where you're just sort of gone radio silent on everyone and you're not communicating to them. That's when problems start. The problems start when you don't say to your employees and your clients, hey, we don't have this all figured out yet, but we're working on it. Something as simple as that goes a long way. So I have uploaded a checklist into this webinar. You can also download it from my website at laurenfaby.com. But we're basically going to go through these these items of, and this really is for people who don't have an in-house, PR or marketing team that's on this. This is for smaller companies who, are used to, scheduling out their social media, and they're scheduling out their client communications, and they don't have a big staff of experts to help them with this. So that's what I do, but I want to make sure that we're sharing this for free. I know that the time is of the essence, and I think that you'll be able to take some tidbits away today of some things you can implement right away. So the number one thing, what is your goal? Is your goal to make sure that your employees handle their day-to-day business in a different way, in the same way? Do your clients need to know things that are changing about your process? Is your goal to increase brand loyalty? Is your goal to let your clients know you're thinking about them? Depending on your business, that really can drive the goal here, but you really need to think about it. How do you want your customers, employees to feel? I touched on this a minute ago. If it were me, I want my customers to feel like I understand that they need communication from me. So I'm going to give them that communication, and I'm going to try to head off their questions. So I'll use my company as an example. I have press releases that need to be sent out this week and next week. I have some events that need to be promoted this week and next week. So I have been communicating with my clients that I do not have any halt in my production of those deliverables. I don't have any halt because it's just me. I'm a sole operator, and I work from home, and nothing's really changed, coronavirus outbreak or not. So that might not be the same for you. So you need your customers to know that you understand that they may have questions, and try to answer them as best you can, and be honest if you can't answer them. Your employees need to feel like they're still part of your team, and that they have the tools to do their job. So we'll get into that in a minute, but don't discount your employees. What problems do you anticipate and you need to mitigate? Like I said before, are you going to have any problems delivering on your contracts? Are you going to have any problems collecting money? Are you going to have any problems paying people? That includes your employees. What about your payroll provider? What are their contingency plans? You need to find all that out. What's the timeline of the crisis? How long do you anticipate it will last? Well, I would say this is probably at least a 30-day problem, maybe longer. So you need to, have those things in place and schedule out your communications to stay in touch with everyone. So the first thing you need to do, other than the overall big picture of defining your goals, is you need to recognize and you need to info gather. What does that mean? What do you know about the crisis? Do you know that you're going to be sending employees home to work remotely? Do you know that your suppliers aren't going to be able to deliver? What do you need to find out? These are the things you need to make sure you and your vendors are aligned, so that everyone understands and has expectations, and then can meet the expectations of their client. And how you meet expectations is by setting expectations. So if you give your clients the heads up that you're going to be running behind in 2 weeks due to a supplier problem now, believe me, you will come out ahead if you communicate this in advance. Who in your organization needs to be included in the planning and execution? Okay, so I'm a single operator, but some of my clients have multiple teams in multiple parts of the country and the world. So who are these people that need to be included in this info gathering? What do they know that you might not know? What are they going to need to have at their disposal to communicate with their teams, and how do you want that to be done? What's the chain of command? Let's make sure it's not a game of telephone. And then finally, who are your audience groups? You're going to have different communication for your clients. than you have for your employees. So I would set up a separate silo of communications that are internal, a separate one that are external, and then I would also even think about communicating to those people on your prospect list so you can stay ahead of them. Let them know that you're letting your clients know what your plans are during this shutdown or change in business process or whatever. Let them know, because maybe their current vendor isn't doing that. So it's a way to come out ahead at the end of this. Meet with your team. Provide information to your team in a concise, easy resource. I use Trello for business. There are plenty of programs and web-based applications that work for collaborative environments. Since I work remotely and my clients are remote, I set up a Trello board for our projects and I give them access to certain things, and it's up in real time. Many companies have CRM systems, many do not. This would be an opportunity for you to communicate with your employees and let them know where all of this information is to be housed so that they can instruct their direct reports and their teams to find information, to find the verbiage you want them to use when speaking with clients, to find timelines, to find, content that they can push out to your customers, however you designate, so that it's concise and consistent. What you don't want is a whole bunch of different people communicating your response to this crisis in a different way. It all needs to be aligned and aligned with your brand messaging. Give them talking points, do's and don'ts in communicating with others. So what you don't want is anyone going off script about what might happen, about what might happen with their billing, about what might happen with their deliveries. Make sure that you communicate the do's and the don'ts of what they are to say, and then give them a resource to escalate any problems. Identify any pauses in activity that need to happen. So if weekly meetings at 2 p.m. are not going to work because you have everyone working remotely, then get together and figure out what needs to happen to change all of those cadence of meetings and in-person activities. And then also involve your legal team as you see appropriate. If you're making promises to clients that contradict your contracts, you need to make sure that your legal team's involved with that verbiage. So next, you need to develop the messaging. You can get a jumpstart on your press releases, your social media posts, your emails, webinars, conference calls. So figure out what you need to do. Do you need to have an all hands meeting of every employee? Do you need to have a webinar for your clients to explain to them a new process? Figure it out and get started on it. I would say the first thing you should do is get something out to your clients, get something out to your employees. Hey, we anticipate a change in XYZ. We are meeting today. You will hear from us by tomorrow with a concrete plan. And don't be afraid to say that it's going to evolve. Make lists and assign tasks. Approve communications so that execution is timely. So if you're not a company that routinely sends out press releases or routinely posts on social media or routinely sends emails out to the masses, get those guidelines in place. If there's boilerplate text that needs to be included in every one of these things, get it approved so that the meat and potatoes of your message can be written and then everything can be sent right away. What you don't want is a lot of lag. Set up and assign social media monitoring. This is important. If you're in a business that relies on maybe a larger business or relies on the market or relies on delivery, identify those social media monitoring needs. Do you need to monitor FedEx, UPS, the Dow Jones, the banks? the post office. I mean, what do you need that directly relates to your business that's important that your clients are aware of? Also, make sure you set it up to monitor your own social media, replies, inquiries, complaints, and then assign roles of people who are going to be responding to these questions online, and also the scope of their response. What are they allowed to say? How are they allowed to say it? Make sure that you have all that locked down. Communicate with the team what the protocols are for responses and approvals. I just said that. But do things need to be approved? Or can this person that's assigned to be your social media person, can they just go ahead and respond without getting approval? Make sure you have all that figured out. Then you monitor the situation. I would say meet regularly, maybe once a day, maybe just key staff. Update your staff on a regular basis and let them know ahead of time what your plan is to update them. How are they going to get their information? Are they going to get it through Microsoft Teams? Are they going to get it through your CRM system? Are they going to get it from, your CEO? Is it going to come from their direct boss? How are they going to get it? And anticipate the questions they might have. Over communicate with your employees. Let them know if their work hours are flexible. Let them know if you require them to check in at a certain time. Let them know how you're going to evaluate their performance. And also give them an opportunity to talk to you and share their struggles or their concerns about a shutdown, or working from home, or being able to collaborate with their team. Then monitor the media, your production capability, and then pivot as necessary. This is important. Keep record of all of your roadblocks, successes, and failures. You're going to need this because next time you're going to have a complete crisis communication plan and handbook at the ready. And so you're going to want to remember all of the things that were great and all of the things that were bad. Going through a crisis communication exercise is akin to like giving birth. I know that after my first child was born, I swore I would never have another child. And then 2 years later, I had forgotten how horrible childbirth was. And then I had my daughter Caroline. So, and then I kept doing that over and over. So, you'll forget all of those little things that you think you'll remember. So make sure you keep record. Do a post-mortem assessment. So give yourself a week or two and then sit everyone down and evaluate. How did your team perform? How can you stay ahead of the curve for next time? How can you get some of those boilerplate things taken care of? How can you get some of those social media graphics produced? Who is your crisis response team? What are the people in your company that rose to the occasion? What sort of skills were identified as being really valuable? What successes and failures did you have? What did your clients say about you? I would close the loop and, send them a survey, pick up the phone and call them, ask them what they thought about the communication that you sent. Was it enough? Was it too much? What was the cadence like? Did they find it valuable? What other communication did they feel that you could have provided, and when? And do the same thing for your employees. Make it anonymous. Don't shy away from getting honest feedback from your employees. Give them an opportunity in a safe environment to let you know how they felt when their job was switched up. And then, did you meet your goals? What were your goals revenue-wise? What were your goals, accounts receivable, accounts payable, whatever it was? Did you assess the situation appropriately, and did you make adequate changes to meet your goals? And then I said before, identify your team for the future. Who are your stars? Who are your communication stars? Who needs to be kept out of the conversation next time? That's just as important. So that's basically what I had to share today. As I said, I did upload a checklist into the webinar documents, but you can also get it by going to my website at www.laurenfaby.com or shoot me an email at lauren@laurenfaby.com. And I hope everyone has a really successful go of it this next couple weeks. Hopefully it won't be longer than that. And if you need my help, I'm here. Have a great day. Thanks.